Hello iTunes friends, welcome to this second video in using Winget to install software. In the previous video we installed the Zoom client with Winget and we put the specific version here 5.11, but the latest one at the recording is 5.12. Let's see how we can package the latest one, and I'm gonna go pretty quick on the stuff that we have done in the previous video, so if you don't follow, look the first video first and then come back to this one. So to save time, I'm gonna copy the previous package and just modify some items. So I'll open a new tab here and let's go to my repository, JBN Intune packages. So this was the one we packaged. So we can just duplicate this one, copy and paste, and then F2 and rename this one, because we can reuse a lot of things. What's going to be special with this video is the detection method. So let's call this one Zoom client. Maybe we call it latest, because we don't know which version it's going to be. I'll do a dash here just to separate that. Latest, because we're going to download the latest. And if we go in here, we can keep the Zoom logo that we had, the Intune Win app utility that we had in from the previous video. Very important to delete the output because we definitely don't want that one. And here in the script, the uninstall will still work. Let's rename this one, the script, and call it the latest dash. And let's open this one in PowerShell ISE. I'll do that just by doing edit. If that one wakes up soon. So here is the script that we did. And here, instead of put the version, latest version. And it's still me, the author, still the 20th December. Oh, 2020. 2022 should be, of course. And this part here, we don't need if we would run it manually, but because we run under system account don't know the path to Winget. That's why we need to run this. That's all explained in the previous video. And here is the command, winget install. We still want exactly the ID of Zoom, but here we remove the version. That means it's always going to get the latest. So this is the easy part. Confusing to have two here. I closed this one, sorry for that. That's the easy part. And we can actually create our package. Let's do that, and I come to the difficult part after. So we can run Intune Win app util. For some reason, when I have double clicked on it, always worked before, added, it just disappeared and give an error. So what I do now is that I start it from here instead, from CMD. So now I have two who looks pretty much the same. So this is the latest. And if I look in here, I do have the Intune. So I'm just running that one. So it won't, actually, let me cancel this. Let's clear my screen. Now, it wants 4 parameters. First, you want to know the source folder. Well, it's this one. So I'm going to right click and copy as path. Then we go back here, paste that. Then it wants the setup file. You can just take the name, but I'm going to take it as a full path. That works also. Paste that. Then you want to know the output folder. I always like to go in and know that it's empty. Good. Then we copy that. Paste here. Then it's going to ask if it's a catalog folder. Always no on this unless you have run Windows Secure S version. Okay, 100% no error. Should work by running from Explorer also. You don't have to do like me, but just verify you got this file. Very small, 3 kilobyte. I think it's actually even smaller when you upload. Okay, so we got that. So what are we missing now? We're missing a detection method. In the previous version, video, we know that was going to be version 5.11, but now we don't know. So we have to script to look what is the latest Winget can get and what do we have already on the system. So let's go back to PowerShell ISE. I do Control N because we're going to need a new one here. So let's first do a winget search because we want to know what is the latest version and what version it has. And we want it exactly the ID to be zoom.zoom. We spoke about that in the last video. Let's add, same as we had last time. So I'm just going to do winget search. We have one here, accept source agreement. Let's add that one as well. Let's run this one. So the latest version is 5.12, and you know we packaged previously 5.11, so we will get a newer by this. So how does this help? We actually want to find this version. How can we get that value into variable? Well, we can first add this to variable. I'm going to call this one JBN search. So that's going to be this value down here. And how can we get that? Well, here, follow me here now. So we're going to do a JBN online version, and we just want this value. How can we get this value? Well, we can do this. If it fine, split, and we can split our JBN search, and we can put a bracket here, -1. And what does that mean? Well, that means that we just take the last line. You see, we have name, ID, version, a lot of lines, and that. So by now, we have only the last line. But we don't want really the last line, all right, save. We just want this one. So we can go again, -2. So we do bracket -2. And follow me here. This is a bit advanced maybe. So -1 would be winget, because minus means we start from the right side. If we just added 1, we would get zoom. But we start from the end. So we know -1 is winget, -2 is this version which we want. So the first -1 here when we split, that just says the last line. Then we say the second one from the end, that's what we want. So if we just run this, the whole thing, we're not going to see anything unless we print this version here. So normally, if I do a write host, for example, and paste here, we got this value here. So that's, and why it will make more clear later. This is in order to get the latest version out there. Now, since we have this version, we have to see what version is installed on my machine, and then we will compare this version. If they are the same, or the one I have installed is greater, which shouldn't be the case, then we don't need to install. Let's create a JBN local version, and that's going to be whatever we have installed locally. So if we do a winget list, again e dash ID, and it's still called zoom.zoom. Let's see which version we have locally on this device. So I marked this one, could press F8, but click this one. It's gonna say 5.12. What was our version that we have online? It doesn't matter. We just want this version here anyway. Then we need again to do a JBN, let's call this one local search, and put that equal to this one. And I guess, did it accept any other switches? Let's do winget list and just see what switches it wants. Support. Oh, it doesn't support any switches. Oh, it does, but it doesn't show me the option. Well, it seems to always work. You don't need to accept any source to do that. So I think we are good. Now we want the version for this one, and we can sort of steal this one here. Just see that the same logic applies. So it's a bit messy here. Let me do a clear host. Let's run only this one again. Just want to see what the output is. Oh, sorry, I can't run the whole. This part only. So we again get 3 lines. We just want the last line, which is -1, and we want the second one. So it checks out. It's still the good one. I'm just wondering if that's always the case. Just do a little check here. If I list all the software, do I have one where I don't have the latest one? Yes, a few actually. TeamViewer, for example, I don't have the latest one. Let me just do a little check that if I run this one, it's the same output. So I think maybe where it was TeamViewer if I remember right. Just want to see that the output. No, if there is an available, I can't use that because then I get the 2. Okay, so I need to expand this a bit. So the logic would be if it have an available on line 3, okay, we can do that. It's gonna be a bit more advanced than I thought. So let's follow along here. So the search we're definitely gonna do. Then we're gonna do another one, JBN check if available exist, very long one, and that's gonna be, we're gonna split the search, actually the local search, so I couldn't kept that exactly. And we don't want the last line, we actually want the third line, but we want the second one, we want available. So here comes the check. If check available, we need a parenthesis, of course. This one is equal the value here available. Copy. Let's add some curly brackets. I like that. So if that's the case, then we know we should go back a third one. So I hardly understand myself what I'm doing, so I hope you can follow. But I think this is going to work fine. Tab 1. Paste. So if this one is available, then we know we should go -1, 2, 3. So we can still do what we have. Well, we need to check local search. JBN local search, because we don't want to search for this one. Perfect. If that's the case, here, my brain is on on fire. Then we still want the last one, but we want to go back 3. If it's not the case, else, that means available doesn't exist. That means you're already on the latest normally, so I think this one is redundant, but we'll still do it for the logic. So I remove this last one. Then this available doesn't exist, and we want to go back only -2. Let's see if this checks out. I'm gonna do a clear host here, so we will have to run twice, one for TeamViewer and one for Zoom. So yeah, let's run this whole one, and when it's finished, I just want to if equal, not equal. program too much Python. Okay, so we got something here. Sorry, this might be very difficult to follow. Don't worry, we'll get there to the end. So let's write host here. That's, which value is this now? 5.12. That's the local version. And I think that's what I have. Let's see if we scroll up. I already forgot. Okay, let me clear everything. This becomes really messy. So if we do winget, and then we do a local, right? No, a list, and we see which version of Zoom do we have here. It is this version. Okay. So that's actually good. Okay, so if we change to TeamViewer, just for checking that my logic checks in, TeamViewer, I'll run only this part. And then we run again local version. This is not the latest, it is the installed. It checks in with the script. I hope it makes sense. I'll do a little summary at the end. So anyway, I want to find out what is, let me put some comments instead, what I wanted to say. What is the latest version of Zoom online? And here, what is the version installed? Because our detection script wants, when it's finished, that this one actually showed the version of what we have online. We want the same. So here comes the actual check. If local version, I guess, local version is greater or equal, normally it should be equal, but let's accept the greater, is equal to JBN online version, then it's good. And detection script, I have that in my course. If you get an output, that basically means that it's positive. The device got the latest version installed. So if you get an output, it's positive. So this only happens if the local version is the same or greater than the online. That means we have it. If not, then it's have failed. So we actually got a detection script here that I think will be working. So I like to put some more here. Purpose, checking that local installed Zoom is equal or greater to the latest online. Author, I'll put myself. Date, 20 December 2022. Let's save this one. So long video with my rant. Is a detection Zoom latest online version installed. That's a long one. Okay, let's package this and wrap this up. We have done definitely the hardest part. So usually when you log into Endpoint Manager, it looks like this, or it's actually called Intune now. If we go Apps, I like to go Windows. We should see we have an app for Zoom, but that's not the latest. So let's add, go down here, Win32 App, select, select our package, and here I will have to be careful that I'm not on, yep, I'm on, it's just not the latest one. Here, Zoom client the latest, output, and here we have our Intune Win file, very small, less than 1 kilobyte again, of course. So here, let's call that Zoom client. Maybe I don't put the latest on this one. I'll put that on the version instead. I'll go quick here. Zoom client. That description is visible though. Publisher is still Zoom. Version latest. Will it accept that? Numbers? We're still a collaboration social. It accept latest, it looks like. So notes. John Bryntze, 20 December 2022. Installed the latest from Winget with Winget. We have the image. Let's take that one here. Click OK. Sometimes I forget to click OK and just go next. Then you don't get any image. Program. So here we do PowerShell.exe dash execution policy. And which policy is it? It's bypass. Then we want the file. Which file do we want? Well, we have that under our source. I select that one, F2, Control A, Control C, go back, paste here. We have an uninstall. I'm going to copy this line, copy, and just change the end. Let's take this one, F2, Control A, Control C, and Control V. We definitely want to install a system. We don't want any restarts. We don't need any return code. Requirements, 64-bit yes. I'll go with 20H2 this time. I still haven't figured out the size, but it's only these two who are required. So here comes the fun part, the whole part, long video for only this part. But here we actually want to use a custom detection script. So that's going to run each time. And where is our script? Well, it's in our package. Well, let me rename. I don't like that I put the capital A there. It doesn't matter, of course. So here's our script. And the only way it will say that the detection rule is good, it is if this is true. Whoop, sorry. Here, if this comes out, the device got the latest version. And that only happens if the local version is greater than the online. And those were the two that we created up here. Took a bit of time. This should work. This is not a 32-bit process, and it's not, we don't have any signature. So go next. There's no dependency, no supersedence. Let's add this available for all users. And go next and create. That went fairly quick. Let's go back to our app. Okay, it finished. Zoom client. This is the one, the latest. So I'm going to go to my this one here, and I'm going to uninstall this one. I'm going to do it, why don't do it this way? So not git, winget uninstall. Let me clear the screen here, CLS. So what we do, just to manually uninstall it, we can do it winget uninstall the exact version. Be careful, if not it can uninstall a lot of stuff. Zoom, that should remove the version we have. Oh, I didn't do it silent, but that's fine. I hope I did it silent. Yeah, because I copied the previous script. Good. Something that I didn't show in any of the videos, we could have updated it also. So upgrade, you can do upgrade, and then let's see what it can upgrade. Then you can do upgrade E and dash ID zoom. Now I don't have zoom, but if I wanted to get to the latest, I could have run this to update. You can also do upgrade I think it's -all, then it's going to upgrade all your software. So that's very useful. But okay. Okay, I got some error and I finally found out why. So we're going to do a little change, which I might have already done. Nope, I have done some changes here for my troubleshooting. I thought I had to specify the version, but the problem was that it tried to install it as the user. So what we can do then, there is one stuff called scope, and then you can put that equal to machine. So normally this should work. That means we have to recreate everything. Finished? Okay, finished. So now we have the good one. And the only difference again was this scope machine. For some reason, when we specify a previous version, it took the MSI. But when we just run for the latest, it went and got the user one. So scope machine never hurt. You can actually always add that. It's probably depend on the application. Okay, let's see if it works now after our change from scope to machine. Then our detection method has to work also. A lot of moving pieces in this video, pretty advanced. We see Zoom is showing up here, so yes, that part is working. And it actually says install. That means the detection script worked also. Oh, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So if we look apps here, Zoom, we have got the latest one, and the script will always install the latest, and the detection method will always work as long as it is the latest. That's really wonderful. Took some time to get there. Thank you very much for follow along. I think we wrap up here. No, I promised to go through the script a bit more, the detection. So let me go through both the detection. So the installer is pretty straightforward. So due to system not finding winget, we need to do all this code. I'll put that in the description of this video also. That helps it to find that. Then we run it, we install, we want the exact ID, it has to be zoom.zoom, none of the other. And this was the one who threw me off, scope to machine. That didn't need it when we specified the version for some reason, but when we took the latest, so I will always add that now. We definitely want it silent and we want to accept everything. So this one, even though it took longest time for me, but hopefully with the cut of the video you don't have to lose so much time as I did. This part is still fairly straightforward. What I wanted with this video was this part, the detection script. So first we look what is the latest version out there, and we have to take the output of that and take the last line -1 and go backwards to get 2 columns to get the version. Then we do nearly the same, but if you don't have the latest, it's going to say one available. So we are just looking if available is there, then we go back 3 columns, because if not, if we go back only 2, we're going to get available, and we want what's actually installed locally. But if available is not there, which probably means you are on the latest, so I'm doubtful this one will be so useful, then we get the version there. Then we just check the local version if that's greater or equal to online. If it's that, then we are on the good version. If not, we are not on the good version. So wow, long video. If you follow along, thank you very much. So thanks a lot, and see you in the future videos. Thanks a lot.